You ever work somewhere that feels wrong? Like the place itself is sick? Corrupted? I'm not talking about bad management or toxic co-workers. I'm talking about something deeper. Something in the structure itself. In the metal and concrete. In the air you breathe and the water surrounding you for miles in every direction. I worked on an oil platform once. Phoenix Deep. 200 miles off the coast of Houston, Texas. I was there for 6 weeks. But the last 3 days during that storm, I learned that some places aren't meant for people. Some places become something else when you're not looking. Something hungry. My name's Rachel, and I was a safety inspector for an offshore drilling company. Because after Phoenix Deep, after what happened during that storm, I can't go back out there. I can't stand on those metal decks. I can't trust the ocean. Can't trust the structures we build in it. Can't trust that we're ever really alone. I'd been inspecting offshore platforms for 5 years. It was good money. Really good money. 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. You fly out by helicopter, land on the helipad, do your inspections, check safety equipment, review protocols, make sure everything meets regulations. Then you fly home. I'd been to dozens of platforms. Big ones, small ones, new ones, old ones. Phoenix Deep was nothing special. Medium-sized. Built in 1997. Crew of 43. Producing about 30,000 barrels a day. Standard operation. Nothing unusual. Or so I thought. I arrived on a Monday in early November. The weather report was clear for the week. Perfect conditions for inspections. The platform manager, guy named Torres, met me at the helipad, showed me to my quarters. Small room, bunk, desk, shared bathroom down the hall. Typical platform accommodations. Storm's supposed to roll in Thursday, he said. Should be gone by Friday. You'll be out of here before it gets bad. I thanked him. Started my work. Everything seemed normal. The crew was friendly. Equipment was well maintained. Safety protocols were being followed. This would be an easy assignment. Clean inspection. No violations. I'd be home by the weekend. But Wednesday night, things started feeling off. I was in the mess hall, having dinner. The crew was quieter than usual, subdued. I asked one of the roughnecks, guy named Miller, if everything was okay. He looked at me funny. You haven't heard it yet? He asked. Heard what? He shook his head. You will. Everyone does eventually. Just, when you do, don't go looking for it. Don't try to find where it's coming from. He got up, left his tray, walked out. I looked around the mess hall. Other crew members were watching me. Then they looked away. Back to their food. Back to their conversations. But the energy had changed. Something unspoken. Something they all knew but weren't saying. That night, around 11 p.m., I heard it. I was in my quarters, reading, trying to ignore the sounds of the platform, the constant hum of machinery, the groan of metal, the crash of waves below. Normal sounds, industrial sounds. But then, underneath all of that, I heard something else. A sound that didn't belong. Like singing? No, not singing. More like humming. Low. Resonant. Coming from somewhere below me. From deeper in the platform. I put down my book, listened carefully. The humming continued. Steady. Rhythmic. Almost hypnotic. It sounded wrong. Not mechanical. Not human. Something in between. I remembered what Miller said. Don't go looking for it, but I'm a safety inspector. It's my job to investigate unusual sounds, potential equipment malfunctions, structural issues. I grabbed my flashlight, headed into the hallway. The humming was louder out here, coming from the stairwell, leading down. I descended, level by level, following the sound. It got louder as I went deeper, past the crew quarters, past the galley, past the equipment rooms, down to the lower decks, the maintenance levels, where the real guts of the platform lived. The drilling equipment, the pumps, the storage tanks, The humming was coming from the lowest level, the moon pool deck, where the drilling pipe goes down into the ocean, through the center of the platform. I opened the door, stepped out onto the deck. The moon pool was there, a massive opening in the floor, 20 feet across, dark water below, churning. The drilling pipe disappeared into it, going down thousands of feet to the ocean floor, and the humming. It was coming from the water, from the pool, rising up through the opening, filling the deck with that strange resonant sound. I approached the edge, looked down into the water. It was black, completely black. The platform lights couldn't penetrate it, couldn't show me what was below. But I could feel something down there, something looking back up, something aware. The humming changed, got higher, more insistent, like it was responding to my presence, like it knew I was there. I backed away from the edge. That's when I noticed the crew, 5 of them, standing in the shadows, watching me, not moving, just standing there. "You shouldn't be down here," one of them said. I recognized him. Miller, the guy from the mess hall. "Why not?" I asked, my voice shaking. "What does that sound?" He didn't answer, just stared. The other crew members stared too. Their faces were blank, empty, like they weren't really seeing me, like they were looking through me, at something behind me. I turned. Nothing there. Just the moon pool. Just the water. Just that sound. I left, quickly. Back up the stairs. Back to my quarters. Locked the door. The storm hit Thursday morning. Earlier than predicted. Harder than predicted. 60-foot waves, 80-mile-per-hour winds. The platform shook with every swell, groaned with every gust. This was bad, really bad. Torres called an emergency meeting. All non-essential personnel to quarters, all essential crew to stations. The storm was supposed to last 12 hours, maybe more. We'd ride it out, wait for it to pass. Standard procedure. I went to my room, tried to stay calm, but the humming was still there. Even over the storm, even over the screaming wind and crashing waves. I could hear it, coming from below. Constant, unchanging, growing louder, around noon. The power flickered, once, twice, then went out completely. Emergency lights kicked in, dim, red, casting everything in shadows. I heard shouting in the hallway, crew members running. I opened my door. "What's happening?" I called. No one answered. They just ran past, heading down, toward the lower decks, toward the moon pool. I followed. I shouldn't have. I should have stayed in my room. But I needed to know. Needed to see what was happening. The moon pool deck was chaos. Crew members were gathered around the edge, looking down into the water. The humming was deafening now, not coming from the water anymore, coming from everywhere, from the walls, from the floor, from the air itself. The platform was humming, vibrating with that sound, and the water in the moon pool, it was glowing. Faint blue light, pulsing in rhythm with the hum, rising and falling like breathing, like the ocean itself was alive. "What is that?" I shouted over the noise. Torres was there. He turned to me. His face was pale, terrified. "It happens during storms," he said. "Always has. Since the platform was built. We just wait it out. We don't look. We don't acknowledge it. And it goes away." But the crew wasn't looking away. They were transfixed, staring into the glowing water, moving closer to the edge. Some of them were already at the railing, leaning over, reaching down toward the light. "Stop them," I screamed. "They're going to fall." But Torres didn't move. He was staring too. Everyone was staring. Everyone was moving toward the edge. I grabbed the nearest crew member, tried to pull him back. He turned to me. His eyes were wrong, unfocused, glazed over. "It's calling," he whispered. It wants us to come home. We've been drilling into it for years, taking from it. Now it wants us back. It wants everything back. He pulled away from me, walked to the edge. I watched in horror as he climbed over the railing and jumped into the water, into the glowing light. He disappeared without a sound, without a splash, like the water had absorbed him, swallowed him whole. Others followed, one by one, climbing over, jumping in. Torres, Miller, the entire crew, walking calmly to their deaths. And I couldn't stop them, couldn't save them. I could only watch as the platform emptied, as everyone chose the water over the storm, over survival, over reality, until I was alone, the last person left, standing on that deck, watching the moon pool glow and pulse and breathe. The humming changed again, got softer, more inviting, almost gentle, like a lullaby. And I felt it, the pull, the desire to go closer, to look into that light, to understand what was down there, what had taken everyone else. Part of me wanted to jump, wanted to join them, wanted to go home to whatever was waiting below. But I fought it, ran, back up the stairs, away from the moon pool, away from that sound, that light, that call. I made it to the communications room, sent out a distress signal. Mayday, Mayday. Platform Phoenix Deep. Crew lost. Need immediate evacuation. I didn't explain how. Didn't say what happened. Just, crew lost. Send help. The storm was still raging. No helicopter could fly in this. I was trapped, alone on a platform designed for 43 people, with something below, something that had taken everyone else, something that was still humming, still calling, still waiting for me. I barricaded myself in the communications room, waited. Hours passed. The storm continued. The humming continued, never stopping, never fading. And I started to understand something terrible. The crew didn't build this platform, not really. We thought we chose this location. We thought we drilled here because of oil reserves, because of geology, because of economics. But what if it chose us? What if something down there, something ancient and vast and hungry, wanted us here? Wanted us to drill into it? To connect with it? To give it access to the surface? To us? The Coast Guard arrived Friday afternoon, after the storm passed. They found me, alone, delirious, babbling about glowing water and humming and crew members jumping. They searched the platform, found no bodies, no evidence, no signs of struggle. Just an empty platform, and me, the only survivor. They said the crew must have been washed overboard during the storm. Tragic accident. These things happen. But they didn't believe that. I could see it in their eyes. They knew something else had happened. Something they couldn't explain. Something they didn't want to acknowledge. Phoenix Deep was decommissioned 6 months later. Too many accidents. Too many lost crew members over the years. Too many unexplained disappearances during storms. They sealed the moon pool, capped the well, towed the platform to shore for dismantling. But I know it's still there, deep below where Phoenix Deep used to stand, still humming, still waiting, still calling. And there are other platforms, hundreds of them, scattered across the Gulf, drilling into the ocean floor, into places we don't understand, into things that might not want to be drilled, things that might be waking up, things that might be calling us home. I can't work offshore anymore. Can't even look at the ocean without hearing it. That humming, that call. Sometimes at night, when everything's quiet, I still hear it. Faint, distant, coming from nowhere and everywhere, reminding me that I survived, that I didn't jump, that I'm still here. But am I? Sometimes I wonder if I'm still on that platform, still standing on that deck, still watching the glowing water, and everything since. The rescue, the debriefing, my life now. It's all just happening in the seconds before I jump, before I finally give in to the call, before I go home to whatever's waiting in the deep. If you're hooked on more terrifying stories from people who've worked in isolated places and discovered that some locations are gateways to things beyond our understanding, make sure to subscribe to Campfire Nightmares. And tell me, have you ever worked somewhere that felt alive? A place that seemed to have its own will, its own hunger? Share your experiences in the comments, because I think there are more places like Phoenix Deep. More structures built on top of things that should have been left undisturbed. More people hearing the call. More people trying not to answer.